Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. Welcome to the one and only, but possibly one of many Copy That's. We are 40% of the Copy That team. That is Lindsey, and I'm not Lindsey.
Hey
I'm somebody
guys.
else. Rod is probably going to be joining us shortly, and this, what we're going to be doing for the next 90 to 120 minutes, is going to be critiquing our Patreon.com/The Copy That Show members. Lindsey, do you have anything you'd like to say to the what is it? What do the Romans call them? The tributes going up before us.
No, hey guys. We're this is one of my favorite things to do during the week. I'm so excited. I got all glammed up for this. I got new lights. I got a new mic for those of you who are regulars who come in on the show. So I'm gonna be testing it all out. I skipped my coffee this morning and I needed it for this. So
I am intensely jealous of you because my kid did not let me go to sleep until midnight last night. Then I needed to do another hour and a half of work, and then she woke me up at 6 o'clock this morning, and then it's been nonstop go 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 ever since
yep.
then.
I hope you got coffee at least.
Nothing. No, there's nary a liquid around me. The only
God.
liquid around is inside of my body already. I am quickly depleting that.
You are parched.
Exactly. It's basically a desert here in Baltimore, but only in this room. And so, just to explain the way that these works, I can speak. The way that these work is we have a Discord.gg or whatever you want to call it, where we allow folks like yourself, possibly even actually yourself, to submit to a channel called Exclusive Critiques, which you get access to if you are a paying member, subscriber to patreon.com/the copy that show. That is one of many services that we offer. It's one of the things that allows us to not shill other people's products or not like have affiliate links to like bone broth or like turmeric supplements or the other things that you often see bandied about on YouTube videos. And so we are the sponsors of ourselves, and we are going to shill ourselves until the day we die. And so as a reward for throwing money in our general direction so that we have I'm not going to say Lambo money, but we've definitely acquired like a beat up used 1997 Chevy money.
Yes.
And so we use that money to like pay for things like this, like, improving the quality of our audio, improving my lighting situation. I got this purple and blue action going on here. I love that. Copy that, paper that.
I love it.
And so we're going to continue doing that, and we're going to keep doing critiques until we can upgrade from the 97 Chevy to maybe like a used 2016 Chevy.
Ooh. Fancy.
What is your favorite beater used car?
I'm not a car person. I don't know. I'm just like whatever gets me from A to B.
I'm very much the same way. Like for me right now, I'm loving the 2019 Honda Odyssey. It's a minivan, and it is delightful. It is very functional, especially with two kids.
Yeah.
But if I were a single man and I were on the scene
what
again,
would you get?
I would get a 1989 Geo Metro, and I'd put flame decals on the side of it.
Oh God. Wait, I'm Googling this.
Oh, if you've never seen a Geo Metro before, it is iconic. Terribly.
I love it. With flames. That's great.
I think we might need to before we get into the critiques, show everybody.
I think we need to see this.
The Geo Metro, the glory of glories that is a Geo Metro. Look at this. This is this is what I'm talking about. Oh man.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's prettier than my kids. So, jokes aside, we do have some critiques, and we do have quite a few critiques today. We are definitely not going to be able to get to all of them. That's why we do one of these every other week, so that people who didn't get a critique in time can actually come in later and get a critique. It is first come, first serve. We make no guarantees, yada, yada, yada. Please don't be mad at us. I can't handle it. It'll keep me up at night. But we are going to start with this. Italian wedding planners.
Mm-hmm.
This, from what I understand, here, attached both the raw copy and the spec piece. Would be grateful for feedback. So if I understand this, here I'm going to read this gentleman's intro. The
Mm-hmm.
target reader for this copy is a bride who has decided to get married in Italy and is looking for help planning. She is at the very start of the planning process, so is at the problem aware stage. Okay. Just for those of you
Mm-hmm.
listening in, if you are not aware of that lingo, that's borrowed from Eugene Schwartz's Breakthrough Advertising. Somebody who is problem aware is somebody who is aware that they have a problem. It's pretty self explanatory. Believe it or not, there are people out there in the world who do not have that. Most of them have Hashimoto's syndrome. Look it up. So, the idea behind this copy is that the newsletters and particularly the guide will provide everything she needs to plan her perfect Italian wedding. The offer is to get a free guide to weddings in Italy in return for signing up for newsletters, which will also help her plan her Italian wedding. The call to action is to sign up to the newsletter. This copy is for the Italian Wedding Planners website. So, if I understand this correctly,
Mm-hmm.
this is supposed to be a squeeze page. You and I have some experience with squeeze pages.
We do.
So if you saw this, if you say saw an ad on Facebook and clicked it and were brought to a page where this what you're seeing right now is what you see. Lindsey, what are your first initial impressions?
So are you on the website? I mean, my if first initial impression without reading anything is just a wall of text.
Yep.
This is very hard to digest. The white font on pink background is really hard to read. The all caps is kind of coming across very offensively. Um, I do like that the imagery is of a couple. This doesn't necessarily say wedding to me, though. Is she wearing a wedding dress? It doesn't look like it. He just seems like he's wearing a normal suit. So this doesn't scream wedding to me. Um, People are nowadays accustomed to squeeze pages, and we are used to seeing the form to input your email address and click. This is not the standard setup. So, is this a button? It's just that particular feature that I'm talking about. You want to utilize that. You don't want people to have to work to try to figure out how do I acquire this thing. So, don't try to reinvent the wheel here. Just do a basic opt-in form so people know exactly what they need to do, the exact action that they need to take. Yeah, I'm referring to that white box there.
Yep.
Um, those would be my initial impressions. What would you think? What do you think, Sean?
I thought many of the same things. I would say that squeeze pages, more so than most other types of direct response copy, design matters. And that's because with a squeeze page, what you're trying to get from a customer or a prospect is exactly one piece of information. Usually a name in an email or a phone number, something you're trying to basically have the exchange be that's the focus. And so it's incumbent upon a copywriter to really focus on every aspect of the experience of that page that makes the decision to give that information ineluctable, but as an unstoppable. Like it begins and then it just does not end until it reaches the end. And so that's one of the reasons why I think that design is so important for squeeze pages. And when it comes to design, there are a few things here that I could see
Mhm.
done. Like, for example, this hero image, like I don't mind it that much, but imagine where my mouse is. I don't know if you guys can see where my mouse
Mhm.
is.
Yep.
Imagine you have here um ready for your dream wedding in Italy question mark. Enter your email and we'll show you how to make that dream come true. Or how to make your Tuscan desires come true or something lateral and stupid like that. And then over on the right side of her head, there's just simply enter your email address to get the free guide to your dream Italian wedding or something along those lines.
I think what you just did there was a great example of highlighting a benefit versus just like a feature, right? Get free planning tips for your wedding. It's not selling me this idea that I have of having this like perfect dream wedding in Italy, right? You need to kind of start selling me the dream first before you're gonna tell me how to get planning tips, right?
I'm going to pick up on some context clues from this and make the, I'm going to say, very sexist assumption that this piece of copy is directed more towards people like you than at me.
I think it's a fair assumption.
And so, as somebody of the non-male variety and also non-binary variety and non-gender fluid variety, female, I believe they're called. What
Careful.
are the... Oh, sorry.
I don't know if
Nobody.
with the
I don't
title.
really know where the line is anymore.
Yeah, I don't either.
I like to playfully toy with it, but I think the fact that I even acknowledge that non-binary things exist is a step in the right direction.
It is.
And so, as somebody of the female persuasion,
Mhm.
what is the sort of benefit that you're looking for here?
Well, I can tell you, I mean, I am not somebody who desires any wedding planning of any kind. My husband and I actually went to the courthouse and we just got married because we did not want to deal with all of this planning. Can you hear any like crying baby background?
Just a little bit, but it's
Okay,
a tolerable amount of tearfulness.
I'm sorry about that. If it gets to be crazy, I will. Rod!
Hello.
Hey.
So, how were your calls earlier today, sir?
I've only had one. I just got done, and immediately.
Lovely.
Great.
There's quite a bit of ambient noise in the background of your audio feed, if it's all right. Ah, much, much better. But I'm delighted to see you. We have just been talking about this, a squeeze page for getting an email address. And we had a brief, how should I say, indirect and hopefully polite conversation about gender dynamics and targeting according to gender dynamics in these kinds of, how should I say, transactional pieces of copy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked Lindsey what her opinion was when it comes to the benefits that she, a person who is a woman, would be looking for when it comes to wedding planning tips.
Mm-hmm.
And what of this seemingly feelingly cluttered bit of copy would she want to be the emphasis or the focus?
Mm-hmm.
So as you were kind of talking earlier about design stuff, Rod, which is where we just were, I started reading a little bit of the bullets, what's inside your free guide. And what I was starting to say to Sean is that I am not somebody who desires a crazy planned Italian wedding of any kind, but I will tell you what I don't want is for this to feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
I want from reading these bullets to feel like this guide has already done the majority of the work for me. And by getting this guide, my understanding of how to pull this off is going to be much, much more advanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, discover Italy's beautiful regions. This just feels like work. You're going to give me a historical rundown of all of, Italy's beautiful regions. And then assuming this is targeting either an American audience or just a non-Italian audience, getting into the Amalfi Coast, Sorrento, Capri. So all of these, it's just like, oh my God, I'm immediately overwhelmed by how much information I have to first go out and get an understanding of all of Italy's beautiful regions. And then what I need to know to actually find these wedding planners. I kind of want this to be a little more advanced, right? So who are the best wedding planners in Italy who have experience working with somebody like me? What are the the actual venues that I have options for based on style or whatever. I want a little more specificity in these bullets. That was kind of my first immediate thought.
Here, we have a good and relevant comment. Yes, Lindsey, as an Italian and a female, this page just confuses me. It might be because it's in English, I'll be honest. Sorry, bad joke. Dad jokes today. So, Rob, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so just on the specificity thing, because I think it's really important that you point that out, Lindsey. Specificity is really good, but non-relevant specificity is confusing and takes up a lot of bandwidth. So it's really great that this person went through like all this detail about weddings in Italy. But if I've never heard of Amalfi or Lake Como or Puglia or the Ligurian Sea, I am then thinking, what is it? Oh, it's a place. Okay. Do I want to be there? Never heard of that. And so I then start thinking about like these things instead of just like immediately internalizing them as benefits. And so to the extent that like your audience doesn't know or doesn't have expertise in the area that you're talking about, we need to make sure that the detail and specificity you go into is kept to a minimum or presented in a way that is immediately obvious what it is. Like if you say, discover Italy's beautiful regions, the Alps and Ligurian Sea, renowned for as being the best wedding spots in Europe. Yeah. That cuts down on some of that mental load.
So I have two dominant thoughts about this. One of them relates to specificity and editing, really. The other has to do with benefits and desire. And Lindsey, what you were talking about. So first off, we're going to do a compliment sandwich. I like this. As you walk down the aisle, you feel the need to pinch yourself. Just a little check to make sure you're not dreaming. Your hair, your dress, your makeup. That's good copy. That's great copy.
It's great copy.
Not for this page.
Yeah. It's like not there.
Yeah. Context matters a lot. This is evocative. It is emotional. And Lord fucking knows that most people do not know how to write that way. 93.27% of people, according to my count, do not know how to write that way. And so already we're doing something good, but it's not right for this. That's the compliment. Here's the first criticism I have. When you guys sculpt a statue, which both of you do, of course, do you mound stone into the statue, or do you strip stone away until you arrive at the statue?
You strip.
You chisel away.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe it was Aristotle who said that every piece of stone has a statue inside of it, and all the sculptor does is take away everything that is not the statue. And
Michelangelo.
It was Michelangelo. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love being corrected because now I will not fuck that up again because I'm embarrassed.
well done, Lindsey.
No, ignore me. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. And so what I see here is a lot of stone. And what the copywriter needs to do is strip away everything that's not serving the goal, serving the purpose, being a statue. Which is to get that fucking email.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And so that takes me to the second criticism I have, which ties into what we've been talking about vis-a-vis desires and benefits. What do you leave? What do you strip away? What are the primary objections and things that somebody has to a destination wedding like this? Well, Lindsey, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. It's a pain in the keister. I love how I don't censor fuck, but I do censor
Yeah, right.
ass. It's kind of like how I never understood the expression "fucking a." Do you guys know that expression?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking a!
Yeah.
Like, why is it? Why are you censoring the ass? You don't want to censor the ass. You want to say effing ass.
A is
Anyway.
actually a person that person who invented the phrase really disliked, and so they were invoking their name.
Got it. Now that's all clear to me now. Thank you for giving me a new prescription, Rod. So what I would say about that is, as Kyle Milligan might put it, how do you evoke bigness here? Well, it's not going to be the biggest, best wedding ever. No, you want to dimensionalize it differently. It's going to be a wedding, and dimensionalization is reframing or recontextualizing copy into something else to make it more clear, more relatable, more believable, etc. So we can change perspectives. That's one of 9 types of dimensionalization that you can do. And a good way to do that is have a wedding that people will talk about for decades.
Mm.
Like you could go even a little bit more aggro with it. Have a wedding that the memory of the wedding will outlast the marriage itself. That's a little too. That's too much. That's too much. But
you need to know your audience for that one.
Yes.
The short weddings, like that may not be that much of a compliment.
That's going to be the version of this page with the blue tone. Anyway. And so another way that you can sort of highlight the benefits very succinctly in a very compressed bullet. And by compressed, I mean, if you go back to the design that I posed or proposed, it would be headline, 3 to 5 bullets, email, legal shit. That's all I personally would put on here. And I will test that design against this design, and I will wager $100 that I'm going to win. And I will also just revise some of the copy that's on here, and I know that my design would win. That's how confident I am of that. And really, it just comes down to isolating down to what people think about what people want, especially from a destination wedding, and what people would want from a newsletter about destination weddings. And I can tell you right now that not only is it about the memories, as I just said, it's also about the ease, the easy in Nesby. If you are not emphasizing going hard into how easy your content is going to make your destination wedding, then I think that you are ultimately doing your prospects a disservice.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Ease, affordability, access, if you have people coming in from all around the world. And then obviously venue and things like that. So I think this person has done some basic chiseling. They've clearly thought through, the second bullet, the wedding planner, the region, the venue. This just feels to me like not enough. Like it's almost as if the guide has not yet been written and the squeeze page was written before the guide. And therefore the copywriter is having to lean into, a lot of cliches because they haven't yet gotten clarity on what the benefits are that they're offering. So rather than help finding an Italian wedding planner, what to know to find someone you can trust, like have you done the work, so that I don't have to, so that you can recommend people to me, right? Because if I'm searching from another country, like the idea of having to sift through Alex.
Hello, my man.
The idea of having to like get on the internet and find Italian wedding planners, that in and of itself is a daunting idea, right? So I want to feel like you can recommend people to me and, explain why, and the top 5 best wedding planners in Italy, whatever. It's just some more specificity in these to help me feel like you can get me a lot further ahead. Hey, Alex. Sorry, I had to finish that thought.
No, I'm sorry for interrupting midway through. Hey, guys. How are
Hey.
you?
Hey.
Today has been your busy day, hasn't it?
Today was my busy day, but the reason it was busy, as I'm finding more and more being in house, is because I've been invited to the pub. So it was going to be a busy evening, but a couple people couldn't go anyway, and I was like, well, I haven't done a stream in a while, so I was like, okay, well, let's do this another time. But it has been a busy day previously, but I thought I'd come and relax with streaming. I might not be so on it, but I'm here, and I can sit, and I can go, ooh, and
Ooh.
so hopefully that's useful.
Great.
It is. I mean, come on. We have 80% of the Copy That crew here. People are going
That's
to get
true.
their money's worth for this stream.
Woo! Hey guys. Okay, all right. I don't want to interrupt. What are we doing though? Give me a brief
So-
rundown.
This is a squeeze page for a wedding planning newsletter, in particular for destination weddings in Italy. And we have mainly talked about why design is important for squeeze pages, like uniquely important for squeeze pages. We've talked about stripping away to arrive at the kernel of what you want to present in terms of what will attract your best qualified prospect. I came up with an amazing analogy. In fact, somebody even complimented it. So thank you, Sam. Thank you for your appreciation. We talked a little bit about the blurriness of the text, how hard it is to read. I gave some ideas for clarifying it. We talked a little bit about benefits vis-a-vis desires, and especially like what would somebody even want from a wedding planning in Italy newsletter. And just to jump on the point that Lindsey just made and the thought that she just put a bow on, everything that she just described when you're revising this, and by you know who I'm talking about. It's you. You can do that in one line. Find out the best, the top 5 or the 5 top ranked wedding planners in, Tuscany, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just, 1 10-line sentence in the bullet that you would put right under your headline. And people would sign up just for that bullet. And that's the whole point of bullets. You want every single bullet that you ever write in your entire copywriting career to be in and of itself worth paying something for. And here, because it's a squeeze page, you are only paying with information that you are providing. So it should certainly be worth it.
That's a good rundown. I mean, I'll give one nugget to this because it was something I was discussing the other day, which is again part nuance, but I think that because we so often talk about how long copy outperforms short copy, and I think perhaps we talk about that too militantly. In that, yes, it is true. However, what I often find is that saying that and repeating that again and again makes juniors feel like, man, I really need to be filling things up. Then I need to be writing like more and more, almost for the sake of it. They don't feel like it's for the sake of it. They feel like it's because that's going to make it more persuasive. But squeeze page, I guess what I do are squeeze pages. Yeah. So like, for example, lead magnet boxes, right? So any kind of opt-in box, consistently shorter wins for me, in terms of like, if you just have one, I would equate it to a lift, kind of like that, right, Sean? It's either very specific or very intriguing, and that's enough.
Yeah. So just to explain not only the logic of lifts, what a lift is, and also why Alex singled me out of all of us, is because very early on in the Copy That existence, I basically streamed for 20 straight hours, 20 straight hours, where I reviewed copy. I reviewed people's copy lists that they wrote for me. A lift is a type of sales email with a singular goal, and that's to get somebody to click onto a sales page. Now, almost everybody, and by almost everybody, I mean like 80 to 90% of the lifts, I'm pulling all these numbers out of my butt, by the way, just to be clear and transparent.
Ew.
Yes, they're all covered in some fecal residue. And so
I've been here for like 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and we're already talking about fecal. Well, the number 2. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make in that stream was that I kept harping on one thing, and it is so important for lifts, but it's also incredibly important for squeeze pages, which is the thing that you're trying to get somebody to click onto. The role of that is to close the sale. A sales page sells. Does that mean that you need to sell in your email? Most of the time, no. And in fact, that's detrimental to the sale more often than not, because you are stealing away from the rhetorical power of whatever you're clicking to.
Mhm.
That's what I was saying earlier about the compliment. The as you walk up the aisle, you feel the need to pinch yourself. That could be in the welcome email. That could be in the first newsletter. That could be like the masthead, like editor's introduction to the newsletter. Like that's powerful there. It's not powerful here.
Mhm.
Whereas here, you mainly want to evoke as much intrigue as humanly possible so that somebody goes, well, I guess it's worth giving up my email for.
Mhm.
That's the goal.
Yeah, like I would just say, completely off the top of my head, I'm assuming this is aimed towards someone who's already interested in, a wedding in Italy. I'm assuming that is a market that exists. So all this had to be was one line, which is, if you're getting married in Italy, these are the 4 places you need to know about, right? And then just like, even just a blurry image, 4 blurry images, big box there, like sign up.
So
It's like,
this,
I need to know.
yeah, this was the next thing I wanted to follow up with what you just said, Alex. Is this copywriter trying to do too much? And is it worth, ooh, puppy, is it worth, like breaking this down even and just doing like a venue specific, like just that single idea of like the 5 best venues, the 8 best wedding planners, like, and just doing specific squeeze pages and testing those against one another?
That the marketer in me just squeed with glee, because
Yeah.
that's exactly what I would want to do.
That's what I would do too.
Have an entire squeeze page that's all about Tuscany. Have an
Yeah.
entire squeeze page that's entirely about the Amalfi Coast. Have an entire squeeze page that's about Rome. And the design could be very simple. It's like a hero image like this, but replace it with like
Yeah.
a picture of a wedding in each of these locations. Like, get everything you need to have the Tuscany wedding of your dreams. And then,
Right.
either that alone or 2 or 3 bullets, bingo, bango, done. Ask for
Fine.
the email. That's all you need.
Yep.
Now, I wanted to jump on the notion that was shared about long copy. And I have seen a handful of squeeze pages where long copy outpulled short copy. And I distinctly remember, an internet marketer coming into an Agora company. Lindsey, you've had this experience before too. And they were like, you guys are trying too hard to sell. And then they made a hot list sign up page. A hot list is basically trying to get of your entire list, that is the emails that you have, a subsection of that list that is really excited about a particular idea so that you can show them a webinar or a promo and most of the buy. Now, to get somebody onto that sub list, the hot list, the people who raise their hand and say, yes, please sell me information about that thing. You have to create basically a squeeze page for whatever campaign you're doing. And this internet marketer came in and he tried to test against the standard Agora, like long form squeeze page. A sort of mini, like a thing with a box and a single headline and 3 bullets, and that was it. And it was absolutely trounced. Like it bombed so bad that they actually stopped the test early. It was like, stop, he's already dead, kind of thing. And there's a reason for that. And I know I say this on stream a lot, but here's the simple reason. You don't need a lot of copy to sell people on a destination wedding they already want. There are people, I don't know any of them, but there are people in the world who wake up in the morning and go, you know what? I want a wedding in Venice. That's exactly how they say it too. Now, there are people like that. And those are the types of people that you would be marketing this kind of information to. Somebody that you're trying to sell a $2,000 newsletter to about, I don't know, pot stocks or lithium mining stocks. Nobody woke up this morning and said, Oh my God, I really wish I knew which were the best 3 lithium stocks to buy right now. Like, maybe Elon Musk did, but we all know he's not human. And so humans don't do that. But there are humans who want a destination wedding. And that is why you would use long copy versus short copy. Does that make sense? Everybody in the chat, did that sort of clarify things, or at least the logic behind when you would use one or the other?
Yes, good job, Sean.
I need the value.
I'll be in the chat. Yeah, I agree. That's
Yeah.
great.
So why don't we say that that's enough for
Yeah.
this piece, and we will move on to the next piece, which is this cold email. Ooh, I'm going to be quiet for most of this because I don't know my ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to cold email.
That seems like that might cause a lot of problems for you.
I mean, my bathroom gets messy, I can tell you that. Sorry, I'm very tired, and so Spicy Sean is out today.
Again, I had to read something for a moment, and I came back and we're talking about assholes. What's happening, guys?
Well, I mean, you are talking to me, after all.
Oh, all right, okay. I like to think that from when I joined and we were talking about fecal matter, the whole time then I was just reading that was all you've been speaking about. And now you finished. Okay, what are we doing? Cold email.
Wait, can I say one thing really quick? Alex, I just spoke to a British woman, and because of you, the only thing I was interested in was asking her, does she eat beans on toast?
Did she?
I couldn't bring myself to ask.
Oh. Come on, that's the kind of stuff that if you ask that, you're in. Because it's like,
Okay.
oh, wow, he must be a secret Brit. He wouldn't
I'm gonna
ask
send
me
a
about
follow-up
that
email.
otherwise. You are honorary, but that would be the best thing, right? This is, I mean, I won't talk about it on stream, of course, but is this for the recent thing that you've spoken to us about?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely send the follow-up email. That is the most interesting thing that you could possibly do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's relevant and that is different. So
yeah, there you go. And speaking of, let's move on to the cold email.
All right, I'm gonna read this one. You guys good?
Yes.
So let me do the introductory in the Discord first, and then I'll kick it over to you. Here's the link to a cold email sequence I wrote. Would love to get some feedback. It's for a marketing agency. Their target customer is a small automation glass company. Ooh, I love the specificity there, but
Okay. Reader, small auto glass companies with 2 to 3 employees looking to grow income up and down, not steady. Idea, allowing the business the freedom to work on auto glass things and not figuring out how to get the phone to ring. To grow the business and get the phone ringing. Offer Google Ad services, build and optimize a campaign. Action, they want to reply. Problem, only focus on auto glass things. Keep money in your pocket. Don't waste money on campaigns that do not work. The emotional benefit, allow the business the freedom to work on auto glass things and not figuring out how to get the phone to ring. Allowing you to concentrate your efforts on running and growing your business. You don't need to navigate the learning curve or set up a team. Keep a focus on running the business. The awareness stage, unaware. Objection, they don't believe a marketing agency can do it. They're probably getting pitched left and right. 80 to 90% of them basically are money drain machines. Okay, I'm just going to skip some of this if you guys are cool. I kind of already have a sense, right? Testimonial, invest $1, get you $2, 134 calls in 30 days, 30 lead submissions, go to landing page, can call me back. Okay. Competitor, Click Geeks. Okay. Thank you for that context.
yeah.
Here's the email. Subject line, quick question about company name. Or subject line 2, ideas for company name. Hey, name, personalization. Recently helped Corona Windshield Repair, an automation glass company with 2 to 3 employees like yours, generate 200 leads, 134 calls, and 74 lead form submissions within 30 days by running Google Ads, pay per click advertising. I would love to show you my plan of getting your company name the same leads per month like that. We work mostly on performance, by the way. Mind if I send over a few times for a quick call? Thanks, Trevor. Let's talk about that one, and then we can move on to the other ones very quickly. There's 6 emails.
I mean, for me, something that stands out immediately here, a couple things. If one of the things that you are aware of is that they get pitched like often,
Exactly.
the subject line, "Hey, quick question about company," is like the most common thing that I see when getting cold pitched. So I almost immediately delete those. You're saying it's going to an auto glass company. In my heart of hearts, I can't imagine they'd be getting pitched loads, to be completely honest with you. So it might be fine. It might be, as we call it, the market might not be sophisticated enough to have had those emails before. So may well work. So I'm not going to like grate around that too much. But the biggest thing that sticks out for me here is you're speaking in marketing speak.
Exactly.
Like you're talking in like leads and form submissions and pay-per-click, and it's like, what? I'm only interested in running an auto glass company. I've not even thought about any of this. I like getting customers. I think that the evidence you have there is great. The fact you have that proof, assuming it, I mean, I don't know if this is real or not, but like that's such strong proof because it's so specific. Like that's amazing. If someone emailed me with that and it was so specific in my industry, great. So that's good, and I think that would probably just about save it anyway. And I like that you lead with it, but you could be far more candid with them here. Far more kind of, this is what I did for these guys. I think I could probably do it for you too. The reason there's no objection to this is because, we always get more money than we take back, or here's a guarantee, or what have you. Do you want to have a chat? What about tomorrow at 10 a.m.? That is how I would structure this out. If you've got that proof there. Personalization, I would like to know kind of what you were thinking personalization instead of just personalization. But those are my quickest fire thoughts on this.
Can I piggyback off something you just said there?
Hey, of course.
Okay. It wasn't really asking. Just gonna start myself in there, slide in. So one thing about proof that I think is really important for people to consider is that when you are giving proof, you're proving something in relation to an objection, a claim, or something. And so if you just throw stats out there without context or without an easy to understand reason for those stats, it's often going to fall on deaf ears. So one thing I noticed is that if there's some line up personalization, it's probably going to be something really generic. And then you lead in immediately with, hey, I recently helped these people, great stats, yada, yada, yada. But if by the time you've gotten the prospect to those stats, they aren't thinking the question in their head, hey, the reason I'm skeptical of this is because it's too good to be true, then these statistics are meaningless to them. And so you either need to have some lines before this setting up or leading into, hey, we have this great thing, we do this great work, here is proof of this thing being relevant, or this needs to go somewhere else, or just be a different email. If you're looking to be different and relevant, you could maybe even skip the proof at all in this email and just go for the, hey, we saw you do this great work, we're in this tangential area, do you want to partner up? You don't have to have this kind of proof to get the call, I think, or to get the response.
I think you guys said some really important stuff that I want to piggyback on. The first of which, Alex, you were talking about, which is, do you want to get a reply in this email and a reply only, or do you want to sell them on your service? This email is trying to sell a cold business prospect on your service immediately from the get-go, which to me, I'm involved in a number of businesses. I get emails like this on a daily basis. And the problem with them is by the time they come to me, I am not in the headspace of thinking about, okay, I need to schedule a call with this person, and then we're going to sit down and have a conversation, and then they're going to tell me their business pitch, and then I have to evaluate if my business has the budget for this, and then how much budget am I going to. So I'm just not in that headspace. I think it's worth testing. Like Alex said, we don't know, we can't assume that an auto glass company is getting pitched as often as, what I'm used to seeing. But so I think you can test. But I would also do a version where you were just trying to get a reply. And like Rod said, leave out the statistics. Try to get a reply. You can go on their website. You can see if they're running advertising campaigns, point out an error, try to offer value in some way, and approach it as, like a friendly person who noticed something and is trying to, help their business, right? Like there's a number of ways that you can do it. But for me, I think that just as a business owner, it's just these types of emails. It's not that your service isn't valuable. It's more about like, is the business owner in the right headspace when they're actually sitting down and reading it? And most of the time, what you're asking me to do here is, baked into my reply to you is the fact that I'm accepting your proposal to sit down and allow you to pitch me, right? In which case, like, I'm just like not right. I'm not there right now. And I think that's the biggest problem and the biggest challenge of cold emailing business owners like this. What do you guys think?
I want to speak for a second, even though I'm the worst person to listen to when it comes to cold email. So y'all plug in your ears because I'm about to lay down some truth. I also get cold emailed multiple times per day, and I have never responded to one because they're all trash. Every single one. I think they're terrible. I think cold email in general is a terrible strategy for almost every single copywriter starting out. Is it a good strategy for people that have a little bit of experience, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of, proof under the belt? Yes, actually, I do. I think it's a really good one. But for the vast majority of people starting out, I think that cold email is a fucking trash strategy for trash people.
Don't listen to that. I've cold emailed business owners. Many of them have responded to me.
You had experience, though. You were knowledgeable about stuff. You also
and we teach people how to cold email.
Yes, no, absolutely. And so the people that you want to listen to when it comes to cold email, it's not me. It's Luke, it's Alex, it's Lindsey.
But I get your point. It is a slog. It is a grind, and you have to understand that and be okay with it and understand that it's a numbers game. It's just about casting as wide a net as possible, right? And just persisting. So, okay, caveat there. Close. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
Yes. And so all of that was, how should I say, a disclaimer before the advice I'm about to give to get my ass out of jail just in case the advice I give is bad. So I look at this and here's how I read copy. And this is a tip for you. I try to put myself in the position of somebody who makes glass, who installs, who bevels, who is constantly covered. Like I've worked with glass before, especially the special safety glass, and like I've worked with it a little bit. And the splinters, they get under your skin. You're itchy literally all the time. It's glass making. It's anything involving lathing. It's anything involving acrylic paint. You feel like there are ants burrowing under your skin every single moment of the day. It sucks. And so I can imagine coming home, I'm tired, I'm itchy, and I get this. And this person says, I recently helped your competitor do this. And I would love to show you my plan for getting the same. Fuck you, man. Eat my asshole. That sucks. I want you to help me beat them. So I've worked construction. I've been on a rooftop. Like I know how these people think. I know how people who work with their hands think. And a lot of that is a combination of like that hard-nosed practicality, like a desire to avoid BS.
Totally.
And also like if you're not going to help me, like, get out of my face. And when I see get the same leads per month like that, I go, what's the benefit? What? I'm helping you at that point. You're not helping me.
I'm
And so-
helping you. That is how this thing reads.
Mhm.
I would love to show you my plan of getting your company the same leads per month. It's literally just like, just allow me to pitch you so that you can pay me my monthly retainer so that I can just deliver you average, right? Like that's what it's saying.
It's racketeering. it's just that's what you're saying. You're like, hey, I'm helping your competition, and
Yeah.
if you don't
No,
pay
you're right.
me, you're gonna be stuck behind them forever.
Yeah.
So,
Just to finish my thought
Wrap
really
up,
quick. What I would say is, if you're going to pitch people like this, you need to make it seem like it's not about you, it's about them. You need to make sure that you understand whom you're talking to and what their needs actually are and what they're trying to accomplish. Now, here's if I were to write this, which I don't think I would ever do a cold email. And God, I gotta be like 3 bottles deep before I ever attempt a cold email strategy. But if I ever am, the way that I would do it is I would try to be confident. I would say, yo, I did this for your competitor. And you know what? I didn't like working with them. And I want to try to beat what I did for them. And I'd like to do it by helping your business. That's how I would approach this personally.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys who actually have experience with cold email, you tell me if you think that would work.
I mean, I was just laughing at Rod, laughing at you saying I'd beat myself. Anyway, I want to beat myself, I think, was it? I think so. I'm gonna count. I think the points you guys are making, I agree with, in the sense of it. A lot of this comes down to it's written with the same tone that every cold email I've ever read is written.
Yep.
I think it's better than the majority of cold emails because one, I think it's targeted at a better audience, i.e., I don't think Autoglass people are going to be getting a lot of cold emails. Certainly from my experience, pitching businesses like that, they would often say to me like, "Oh yeah, we've never really been approached before." So one, that's good, and two, you actually use proof, which I think is the strongest point of the email. But what I 100% agree with is that this is written in very much, hey, like it's very clinical and very, this is a template, this is the thing, I'm quite cool, do you want some leads? How about we have a quick call? And that, I think, is where I think Sean's experience with tradesmen as well, I think is going to help you kind of improve this, because this is such a cliche piece of copywriting advice, but I'm gonna repeat it here. Like, there is an element of you need to talk conversationally, and I know we kind of take the piss out of that, that advice now, but like, it is true that you are talking to a person, and you can be quite candid, and you can say,
Yep.
like, hey, this might be of no interest at all, but I actually think it's not a bad thing to say you work with a competitor, even if this isn't a competitor. This might be another town over. That was how I inferred it, but I think the way you guys have inferred it is probably correct, that this is actually a nearby competitor. Because I equate that to, I never, when I used to pitch, I never came in it in the frame. If I'd helped someone previously, I'd never go at it from the frame of, oh, it was a competitor. I would just say, oh, I helped this restaurant, and that was never taken badly in my experience, or no one ever told me they took it badly. So I could be way off here. But I mean, for Sean, Rod, and Lindsey, let's imagine that someone approached us and said like, hey, I've done the thumbnails for Alex Tony's videos for the last year. Saw you guys were coming up. Wondered if you wanted to have a chat and see if there's an opportunity for us to work together. I feel like that would be one of the first cold emails we ever got where we'd be like,
I would respond to that email.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like, I do think, you maybe do need to be careful. And I think the point you guys are making is fair. However, from personal experience and from thinking of it, if I was in that position, I do think the moment you say you've worked with someone, a competitor or someone close in that sphere, it gives that immediate sense of, oh, have you? And I can tell that as a business owner. A competitor's name gets my attention. So at the very least, it's gonna break the mold of, oh, I'm just gonna delete this email. They might. Can I ask you a question
though? Would you feel the same way if that person was like, I have worked on Kyle Milligan's thumbnails for the past year?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
wait, why wouldn't I?
So I would feel differently because, and this is what I think it is for me. I wouldn't have an issue with the Alex Catoni ones because she is, by some metrics, doing better than us. It's a bigger channel. And so if
I see what
someone's
you
like,
mean. I see what you mean.
you have access to this bigger thing, but if it's someone who's like at my level or someone who is like below my level, I don't really care. And it's just like, well, you're helping the person who like I'm in direct competition with. Whereas if it's like a catch-up game or it's like a, more premier
But
brand
I don't
kind of
think
thing,
that's what this email is doing. Because that was one point I disagree with you guys on. Like you guys keep saying it's making kind of the same stuff. I don't care if they're doing the same stuff as my competitor. If I know I'm not, again, I'd reword leads and stuff. If I know I'm not getting 208, warm people come to me and suggest maybe I work with them, then I'm getting a quarter of that. That fuck me. I enjoy that. So I infer that slightly differently in that if I know that I'm getting, say, 100 leads at the moment, and someone says, "Oh, I did it, and I got 200 for these people," I go, "Okay, well, it might be worth a talk." There's still, again, that's me, and that's how I would approach it. But generally, I'd say I don't think this is a bad cold email because of the context of who you're talking to and the proof that you're using. But I do think it is just a classic cold email in that think about who you're talking to a bit more, be a bit more frank and candid in your conversation. Act like you're a person talking to a person that you've just bumped into. Imagine you've just met them, and you just found out they're an autoglass, and you go, "Oh, I'm actually like, I've actually worked for autoglass companies." Imagine you talking to them like that. You wouldn't then break out into a robotic kind of like, "Hey, I'm going to list out all the accomplishments I've ever had."
Yeah, I think that's the biggest offender for sure. Is just the fact that it's a classic marketing email, and it actually gets more and more templated as you move down into emails 2 and emails 3. It's that classic, "Hey, did you miss my email?"
Yeah.
And then, "Hey, question about your company name. Just wanted to check to see if you've had a chance to review my previous email. If you have, now you're reminding me that I have to go back and do this work to, figure out if I want to have a conversation with you." And then, now you just stacked another email on top of it. "If you have, could you please send a quick bump my way so I know you received it? Regards, Trevor." Email 3, same thing. And now you're doing this like manufactured, "Oh, silly me. I realized you don't even know me yet. I'm trying." It's just like, it is just the classic, what we've been saying, that this classic marketing emails.
Yeah. I also want to jump in here and quick and just say that I'm assuming this is for a local business, or at least one who has a phone number. Call them. I know you don't want to hear that, but like, just give them a call. You can send an email to begin with if you want to, but like, you don't have to do a whole follow-up sequence. If you're finding they're not replying, just give them a call and say like, "Hey, I just wanted to check you were getting my emails. My name's I don't know," and then just shut up. Don't say anything. Okay, here's a little sales tip for cold calls. Don't go into like a massive spiral of like, "Oh, I'm going to explain everything and why I'm calling." Just like say, "Hey, just want to check you get my emails. My name's Trevor." Then shut up and see what they say. If they go like, "No," they go like, "Oh, cool. Allow me to introduce yourself." If they say yes, they're likely then gonna say, "Oh, yeah," and they feel awkward, and then they're gonna talk about, "Oh, yeah, let's do that." Cool. Calling someone up is so powerful.
So powerful.
It's frightening. I also just want to draw attention to Warren's comics. It really made me laugh.
God.
Right. That would get a really quick response, though. It would work.
Schedule
and by according to some marketers, that's the only metric that matters.
Anyway, cool. I hope that's helped. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Lindsey, I thought your points about the follow-up emails were very good. I take, as you guys know, strong umbrage against cold emails in general. Like I can already intuit what this personalization would be just based on the cold emails that we get. I'm gonna here's what the personalization is going to be for the glass company. "Hey, I saw that you were a glass company in area, killing it out there."
Killing it
out. That's it. Seriously, I've read that sentence or that pair of sentences at least 18 times in the last month.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No. For me, it's I saw your article on this. I thought it was great. I like, "Oh, really admire the work you're doing."
Yeah.
"What work, Jenny? What work?" Anyway,
You don't know my life, JD. You don't know what I really do out here in these streets.
sorry, it's this raw.
Streets of Cambridge.
Got me.
It's raw.
Anyway, one piece of advice just to add on to Sean's point there. If you want another way to go about this, Sean, had you finish your point? Sorry, I don't want to jump in.
I'm done talking about cold email for the rest of the month, and I feel bad because I interrupted Rod. So.
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, we
started speaking at the same time, but I was going to completely change. Not completely. I was going to shift the conversation. So I'm glad you went first. I also don't like cold email, but the reason I don't like cold email, like I think you could do it, but you have to approach it like dating, and you have to learn when to take a no. Like if you are on Tinder or whatever, Bumble, Bagel, Coffee, whatever app, like, and
Grindr.
you message like, Grindr in Sean's case, and you're just like, hey, and you really generic message, no one's going to respond to you because that's not sexy. And you need to be sexy in your like business cold emails too, because like in the same way that no one wants a newsletter, no one really wants make cold email warm again. It's actually the thing though. It's like talk to people in a way that like they're receptive. If you want to work with a business, reach out to that person, connect with that person in a way that like doesn't feel like you just want their money.
Exactly.
They can tell you want their money, like they're not going to work with you because like those incentives don't align. If you reach out to,
No, I was just going to say, I think that's
Well
such
said.
a good point. And I think the other way to look at it is, or if you want their money, be so clear that is the thing that you're after. Don't walk this middle line of like, I'm a nice guy,
Yes.
I don't care about the money, but I do really, just say like, I think I could like, here's the facts. Yep, I'm emailing you because I think we work well together. Like, yes, this is a pitch, but here's my case.
I think that's what we're going to call it for now. Nice guy emails. Don't be like, oh, I'm just so benevolent. I just wanted to help you. I just saw it. It looks like you really need. And so I wanted to reach out for you. It's not for you. It's for me. I want your money. And I want you to want to give me your money. And so I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do for you that you're really going to want me to do. And then you're going to happily give me your money. And everyone's going to be really happy. And there's going to be a lot of money going around back and forth. Well, mostly one unidirectional, but like, be upfront about it. Or if you're going to like do the subtle thing, make it sexy, make them like, let them enjoy it a little bit. Like at least let them think you care about them. Don't do this like killing it bullshit.
Nice guy emails. Can I add one thing that I was going to say earlier when Sean was talking, just to give an actionable tip to everyone? If you are cold emailing, something that I found super effective, which I still don't actually see very much. People personalize in that they'll send like a video, which is becoming more common. I think audits becoming more common.
Mm-hmm.
But something I used to do with cold emails, to especially to like smaller businesses who weren't used to getting them too much, and ones that were, to be fair, is just take a screenshot of their either their website or like a photo of the leaflet that they've sent around, or something like that. Anything that they can recognize, because that basically interrupts the pattern in that like they weren't expecting to see a thing of theirs. So it kind of makes them, the moment they open the email or in the subject line, if you can quote something they have specifically said recently, or somewhere they've been recently. I talk about this in my masterclass, but like that stuff is far more powerful if you're really trying to cold email someone. Like do something that they will recognize as theirs. Mention something they recognize as theirs, and they will either read, open, or at least see what you have to say. So that's an actionable tip.
I was going to make a sort of meta joke and like talk about nice guy stuff and like actually being helpful to people, but like being transparent and honest. I was going to like do meta commentary about copy that and like what we try to do. But I'd like to actually pivot because I have an idea like what I would do if I were trying to do cold email. And I realize that this violates what I just said about not talking about cold email anymore. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Do I contradict myself? Very well. I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes.
I love that song.
Yeah. I think about like what Lindsey and I have done over the years. And if I ever had the time to actually devote to our little side hustle, our little agency, And again, and if I had to cold email people, I think I know exactly what I would do. I think I would try to find a business that has a reasonably low volume, a niche specialty kind of business. Auto glass, good choice. Love it. Because people that are looking for auto glass repair, they're motivated buyers. They have a broken window and they want it fixed. They aren't going to shop around. They aren't going to price test. They want their window fixed. So that's a good audience and that's a good business.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I would do is I would probably get their phone number from a website. I'd probably duplicate their website. I'd put their phone number on the website that I own, and I'd probably try to do a test run where I just spend a few days driving traffic to that website and try to get them as many calls and as many customers as humanly possible with as little money as possible. Basically, what good media buying is. And then I'd turn off the traffic. And I'd send an email and say, hey, did you have a good week this week?
That works.
You want to talk about fucking racketeering, man? I know from racketeering.
My God.
No, when it comes to that kind of shit, I'm cold-blooded too. Because I will literally say things like, if you didn't like that and don't want to see what I built for you, I could always take your phone number off the website and, put your competitors on there if that's okay.
I was thinking like you would do it for a week, turn it off, then email, be like, hey, did you notice the difference? And then like gently be like, yeah, it's because I was working really, really hard to do this. And now, do you want more of this? I can totally do this. Not, I'm going to take this and give it to everybody else.
I mean, obviously you want to phrase it a little bit more delicately. It's about the implication.
Wow, but you sound like you've been wiretapped. You're like trying not to say the thing that we all know you're talking about. We're going to apply a strong
muzzle. Thank you very much for the donation. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Made a donation?
Christopher just paid us to say this.
Love it.
You're welcome. And
Thank
also use it and please extort businesses into giving you business. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. Just to be sure. Just to be clear.
Is he though?
No, he is. I mean, there's nothing.
Also, I've done that.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with sending free leads to a business owner and then following up and being like, hey, I was experimenting. I'm shopping around for a partner, in this city. And I was sending you leads this last week. Did you notice that your phones were ringing off the hook?
Mm-hmm.
It was me. Did you like it? Do you want to talk about continuing or not? And that's it. It's a simple conversation.
That's all you need to say.
Use her freezing. It's really good.
Don't listen to me. I'm being spicy Sean today.
Yeah,
and so don't listen to anything that I have to say.
Or just go around your local area and smash up people's windows and send in more business.
Hey, I hear you have a window problem.
Did you
right
like
now.
that?
You throw, what's that joke? You throw a brick in and on it's just got the contact details of a window repair guy. Right? Something like that.
You smash those windows and leave the business card on
window
the
repair.
dashboard.
Okay. I think we have to move on from cold emails now.
All right. That sounds good. But hopefully that was helpful. And thank you for sending in your copy. I appreciate that. By the way, I think this is a good time for a plug. By the way, if you want your copy reviewed and for me to sound like a mafia boss while I review it, submit your copy by becoming a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/thecopythatshow. We love receiving money from you, but we also at the same time love giving as much value and as much valuable advice as humanly possible. Our Patreon is only $20 a month. And there's no commitment. You can literally go onto that page and see everything that we posted. Hundreds of posts, lots of masterclasses, hundreds of hours of additional footage, some stuff that is less funny and even more educational than these streams, believe it or not. And so that's all available at patreon.com/thecopythatshow. We appreciate your patronage, and we appreciate you. And obviously, we're using an advanced streaming software right now. We had to pay for this, and we paid for it because of viewers like you. Like, this business couldn't grow, and we can't reach and can't help more people if we don't have your support. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who is a patron, and hopefully we can do business one day in the future. And if not, there might be a brick with patreon.com such the copy of that show through your window at some point.
We can't make promises. Yeah, we can't make promises. But
we cannot make promises. We do not. But we do try to put out the best stuff that we can. Okay, let's move on to Rex. Our boy. I really, really like Rex. And so hopefully we can give him some good advice.
You know what I really like? Flaming the shit out of Rex's copy.
Let's do it.
I mean, we're definitely going to do, because here's the thing. The way that Lindsey phrased it, the cold email that you would send to somebody after you do that test run of like actually trying to get them leads, that was nice and kind. I'm kind, but not nice. I'll call you an idiot while I help you. And so that's what we're about to do now.
And let's not forget that Rex almost bankrupted us that one time. That was very rude.
Was I on PCP for that? I don't remember that.
There was the bullet stream where he
bullet
had,
stream.
oh,
that was
God,
another hours and hours long stream. Although I was with you that time.
Yeah,
I was in the chair behind you.
Yeah.
You didn't know it.
Alex was right here.
Rex is calling us.
Retrieving
Rex is calling us to task. He's saying, "Bring it."
Oh,
Bring
okay.
it.
All
All right, Rex.
Go, bitch.
So, who wants to read this one?
I take this one.
Go for it. You're good.
All right. Oh, is it in the Discord somewhere?
So this is the description. Yes, you can scroll up to Rex.
Critiques channel.
I believe I'm not going to dox him on stream. I was about to give his real name, but unless he wants to share it.
Oh, there you are. I'm on you. Okay. All right. So this, I'm assuming, is the description up there.
I believe so.
Always appreciated. So
can I just say something really quick? Center formatting. This, please left justify. And for certain types of copy, center formatting works. Deck copy, sectional heads, lists, things like that. Center formatting everything, I think, is a mistake, just in general. And obviously, there are going to be some pages where that matters and some pages where it doesn't. But in general, things are easier to read when they are not center formatted. And that's one of the reasons why center formatted subheads and headlines actually catch attention, because they're a little bit harder to process. So
I have argued with designers about this, because to someone who's not trying to read, centered usually looks better. But for someone who's trying to read, it's a lot more difficult. Okay. So Rex says, this is a homepage for a marketing agency targeting small to medium-sized businesses looking to scale their marketing. They've probably been burned by other agencies, but still have the problem of not growing fast enough. Traffic is coming from search and organic mostly. The conversion objective is to click the red CTAs, which will lead to a more specialized quiz landing page. Wrote this baby in 6 hours, and man, I'm proud of it. Ha ha ha. Let's see if we can change that. Is that too mean?
No,
all right.
No. So here's the thing. People are going to get really upset on Rex's behalf, but we're only mean to Rex because we're friends with him. If we don't know you and we hate you, we're going to be nice to you.
Well, no, you've said if we hate them. All right, okay. All right, Rex, right. Looking to take your business to the next level? Get a profitable marketing strategy that gets you real results tailored to your unique business needs today. Get your free marketing blueprint. Get a step-by-step marketing blueprint that won't destroy your budget for free. Your company plus tailored marketing strategy equals $. We help small to medium businesses quickly scale their advertising to drive more profit without burning through their ad spend. Creative, showing the services you offer, all leading to the same page. Make each one a button people can click on one and land on the other page with an example. Email and SMS marketing, website optimization, paid media marketing, lead generation, social media management. Don't need any subtext. It can be as simple as that. Okay, so giving examples. Get your free marketing blueprint. Over 3.6K satisfied customers. We've helped brand new startups and industry titans in over 50 niches generate tens of millions in revenue. And here's some proof. Check out the other businesses we've helped get richer. It's time your business turns into the next Forbes success story. Work with an agency that gets you the results your business deserves, focuses on your audience, and finally knows what they're doing. They promise results, we deliver them. They focus on your money, we focus on your audience. They take shots in the dark, we're tailored to your business. They preach they're good, we prove we're good. They overcharge you, we charge what's fair to you. They ghost when things go wrong, we hold your hand from A to Z.
Can I pause you really quick?
Yeah, of course you can.
I'm loving this so far.
That's good.
That's good.
All of that plus an actionable step-by-step in your free marketing blueprint. You control how we work together. Let us take care of all your marketing, or we guide your team on how to become marketing pros. You're in full control. Your ongoing marketing specialist. We take care of your business marketing as if it were our own and keep you in the loop the entire time. One-time system setup. We build a scalable system that delivers strong ROI and you manage it. Your own private consultant. Get ongoing consulting to get custom data-driven steps to adjust and scale your advertising or train your team without the upfront fee. Revenue split partnership. Lower risk for you on upfront cost and a higher chance of success for us both. Pick how we work together. Your company success story is just one custom blueprint away. Get 22 years of battle-tested marketing expertise and thousands of businesses tailored specifically for your business needs for free. Discover what's wrong, how we'd fix it, and a fair price for it. Our clients turn multi-million-dollar success stories. If our results-focused marketing is good enough to make them millions over and over again, it's sure to work for you too. Company revenue generated timeline. Want to start seeing similar results? It all starts with your marketing blueprint. Meet your team of devoted marketers before even working with us. Judge our expertise for yourself and decide if we're the right fit for your business before risking a dime. Check your team on your free marketing blueprint. Your team of pro marketers is just one finger snap away. Pick and choose how often we communicate on whatever platform, and we'll take care of the rest. Just reach out whenever. Update calls. We set time aside to answer any questions, update you on the progress, and take ideas from you. Details business review. Get a deep dive into your quarterly business performance, what's working and not, and how future plans align with your goals. Monthly position reports. Get all the vital metrics for your SEO campaign at a glance, track what's working and what we're improving. Email support. Got an urgent question that must be answered now? Just email us and we'll get back to you ASAP with everything you need. See examples of our communication in your marketing blueprint. How we guarantee your success. With your free custom marketing blueprint, your results are bound to improve because you'll get brand new strategies tailored to your business and audience, proven to work for 3,000 plus other companies, and the insider marketing secrets from the brains of former brand managers of Procter & Gamble and 8-figure copywriters and other marketing geniuses for less than the cost of building an elite team yourself. We're ready to turn your business into the next Forbes success story. Are you? Yes, give me my marketing blueprint. Who wants to give first analysis?
Just one quick thing first, Alex. Your volume is going up and down, but
Really?
if you go to settings and then go to audio, there should be a box you can tick. It's probably pre-tick that says automatically adjust volume. It's probably StreamYard doing that, not your mic.
Thank you. I have unchecked that now. And sorry to put everyone through that.
No, you're completely fine.
Before we get into the analysis, I would like to take a moment to, again, compliment Sandwich this. People are saying in the chat that there's too much urgency. I think that there's a good amount of urgency, and I think that the urgency really picks up towards the end, which obviously you want. That's closer to the CTA. You're at the point where you need to sort of like push people up to that precipice of making a decision or not. I mean, again, this is skipping the compliment part of the compliment sandwich, but I think one thing that could improve this is actually having CTAs sort of peppered throughout. Again, like after every major section, you can have a button. Get your free blueprint. Get your free blueprint. Sign up for this. Sign up for it. And you'll often see that, and basically marketers discover very early on is that there are people that are going to be hitting this page who are more cold, who are going to read the whole thing, who are going to get to a certain section, and then they're going to want to buy. And it's only at the end where you really need urgency to like sort of like push people over the edge to finally doing it. But there are going to be people who are ready to sign up after the headline. I mean, not this headline. This headline is kind of generic, but the rest of it is actually pretty good. So I would put CTAs and pepper CTAs throughout. Another good thing that I see going on here is that there's a lot of specificity and a lot of attention paid to like objections that people have, benefits. There's so much specificity when it comes to design here. Like this writer was obviously not just writing with the prospect in mind. They were writing with the client in mind, the designer in mind, the reviewer in mind, like all stuff that I've been advising people to pay attention to for years at this point. So good job, Rex. It's almost as though you watch our show. And so you got social proof, really fantastic social proof, and it comes high up because it's extremely valuable for it to come high up. I would even, I would almost even consider, no, I think this is right. But one thing that you might want to test is actually flipping that with the second section that you have. Just test it. I don't think that it would win, but it would be an interesting thing to test. Another thing too is, having implied benefits. Turn your business into the next Forbes success story. The implication there being like your business will grow so much that it will catch national attention. Like, oh, that's good. People want that because the implicature there is you will be making a lot more money. They focus on your money. We focus on your audience. Like there are certain things here where rhetorically, like I'm normally very skeptical of rhetoric and like flash in writing when it comes to these kinds of pages. But there are some here that are subtle enough and good enough that I think you get away with it. They preach they're good. We prove we're good. Like there's so much going on there rhetorically under the hood. So you did a really good job with that. And I think that if you have more CTAs and really pay attention to improving this headline, I think that you might have, if not a home run, at least a base hit.
So Rex is saying all of the red, they are actually CTAs. So he had actually thought of that. Well done, Rex. I agree that this is, relative to the rest of the copy, the headline and these first few paragraphs are like almost the weakest part. And I would definitely test that social proof element over 3,600 or 3,600 satisfied customers. Definitely test that. I love this, that, what Sean said, turn your business into the next Forbes success story or get your business.
That's a better headline than what
absolutely
he has. Yeah.
Than what you have. Yeah.
I would consider trying some using, like at the very beginning, you're pushing people towards that quiz. You could say something, tie in, like use the quiz funnel created by, or that got results by like all these big companies, like this little graphic here, put it there. And then the next one could be, over 3.6K satisfied customers. Because like, I think Airbnb, maybe a couple like Upwork, those are big enough companies that maybe, like it's like what I was saying earlier about like if it's a company that like feels above the company or it's a higher level of success than your target audience, and that might be a good proof point.
I would try out selling against the alternative as a general lead as well, because like if you're approaching this and it is very general, like you're an agency, right, and you are targeting small to medium sized businesses looking to scale their marketing, like that's very general and generic, right? And so the first thing you have to do right out of the gate is immediately differentiate, right? In order to get a prospective business owner, an agency owner to continue reading, right? How is this going to be different than every other, again, thing that I'm pitched?
Yeah, So I want to take a step back and look at the context of the page and what it's trying to do. So it's a homepage for an agency. There are many, many agencies. I'm sure you were going through them when you were researching for this, and I'm sure we all recognize what homepages tend to be. I've worked with 4 CEOs in medium-sized businesses, and this could be obviously completely anecdotal, and it could just be the 4 that I've worked with. but they were all entrepreneurs in the sense that they all had started their own business, which is why they have a medium-sized business. They didn't inherit it; they had actually built it, and they are the kind of person who's going to be looking at a marketing agency like this. And in every case, I would say there are probably two things that they look for. The first thing is who else do they work with? Every CEO is like, well, what I need proof like straight away. Who else they work with? I would move that proof you have way up. I mean, like that should be in the hero section. That strip that you have, like I would have that top. I would have that in a carousel, starting with a really great one, and then the next best two in the middle of it.
Yeah, that bit about
Um,
Procter and Gamble, like it's
Yeah.
something with Procter and Gamble that I can get. What? Where do I
Yeah,
get
like
that? Yeah.
that is the first thing a CEO will ask themselves is who else they work with. And the CEO I work with right now, like he will be if he's seen like if he sees Airbnb or Uber or something, he'll be like, ooh, that will be the immediate reaction is, ooh, okay, cool. The second thing they look at is, are they saying and this is obvious, this is just normal copywriting, but like, are they saying something that is immediately hitting on the thing that's pissing me off right now, things that's frustrating me? It doesn't have to be particularly like specific, even, but if you are you're multiplying the great proof you have, i.e., who you've worked with already, and be the next Forbes success story, which is something that, again, I know that all the CEOs I have worked with, they all want national attention. They all want, like, even though it, news wires and things can be limited in the amount of success they can actually grant, they all want to say that they were in these massive, like finance magazines and stuff like that. So that is something that really resonates with a CEO, and a CEO is probably the kind of person you're going to be targeting in this. Like realistically, it's either going to be a director of marketing or a CEO, the people who are going to be looking at this page. And those two things, I think, really hit the nail on the head. And I think you've done both of them. I just think they need to be reordered. As Sean would say, I think you need to look at functional edits here, like primarily. I think you've got the value generally down and quite good. I just think how you've structured it and the way you've ordered it needs to change.
So, just for everybody who doesn't understand what the hell Alex just said because he said it with an accent, there are different tiers and levels of editing that one can do. Value editing is, you're looking at the idea. And Lindsey and I are actually going to do a masterclass on self-editing and critiquing copy. And I think, we were going to make the whole thing for free, but judging right now from what we have, it's probably going to be a 2 to 3 hour long stream. So we might release maybe like the first 30 minutes onto YouTube and then put the rest onto Patreon, so that, it doesn't ruin our analytics. That's one of the real reasons why, YouTubers don't put that sort of like long, super valuable content out there for free. We are just idiots. But value editing is all about the idea, the quality of the idea, the uniqueness of the idea, the approach. This feels unique to me. Haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about that. Even this feels more unique to me. Haven't seen a whole lot of people with that approach. Could be something to test. This, man, I can get that shit from Fiverr. Give me a break. So, value edit. That's a value edit. A functional edit is every single piece doing what you want it to do? Is the social proof section actually providing a good amount of social proof? Is that social proof section coming at the right place in the copy where it should? I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. Let's see. You control how we work together. Imagine if this was the second section that we read. Imagine what our critique would be, what your critique would be if you read this. You would read this and go like, I don't think that's important enough to come at the second spot, like right below the headline. That's what a function edit is. You bump the less high priority stuff down, but it's obviously good enough to include somewhere in the middle to show that the person has control, that it overcomes an objection that people have. It's not the most important objection, but it is one. And that's why you deprioritize, and that's a functional edit. A line edit is looking at stuff at the level of the sentence in the paragraph. You want every single sentence that you write and every single piece of copy that you write to sell, to work, to actually be good copy. And you have to look, when you're line editing, at the sentence level, at the level of the word. Is every single word as powerful and compelling as it could be? Does it have the same levels of associations that you're trying to achieve? And then so everybody understands what line editing. The big mistake that I see a lot of like juniors and newbies getting into is that they will often focus on line edits, but they will ignore value edits. And senior copywriters, when they're giving critiques, they will only focus on value edits. And oftentimes they won't even read past the first page. They'll say, I mean, your customer is not going to read past the first page, so why should I? Because the idea is not good. The approach is not good. It's not valuable to them. So rewrite the whole thing. And that's the kind of critique you're going to get from a real senior copywriter. We're being nice to you, but by actually reading your whole stuff. I'm being an asshole today. I apologize. But at the lowest level of editing, you have proofreading, and that's grammar.
Sean, that we're recording that on Monday next week, right? I think you just gave everyone the whole spiel.
That's not the whole spiel. That's a teaser. Yes. I gave away. Yes. You now no longer have to watch the very long self-editing stream that we are going to make for you because we care. Ugh. Anyway, so what other comments do you guys have about this particular piece of copy?
I think we were pretty generous with Rex. I am going to suggest we move on to the next one because we got 30 minutes left. At least I do anyway.
Yeah, and I think we have enough time for one or maybe two more. I don't think this is the one that was next in the queue. This one was. Here we go. So this person DM'd a portfolio update for last week's stream, and we neglected to get to it. Evan basically won the chance to work with me and write copy for basically me and Lindsey for a publication that we publish. And this Drinks Tea submitted this last week and wanted a critique and some advice on this. So really quick, just as a recap last week, this is more content than copy, but you still need to apply the logic of copywriting. A portfolio update is basically effectively a brief. And the goal of a portfolio update is both to share news about the company, which bad writers will often put very blandly, like put earnings updates and things like that. They'll often ignore like any news with some oomph. But the ultimate goal of any portfolio update subconsciously is to remind people of why it's in a portfolio and also reassure people if there's any bad news, but also reaffirm that any investing decision that they make was a good one. Lindsey, would you say that that's a pretty good summary?
Yeah. Great.
So let's, unless you guys want to read the portfolio updates, I will do this since I guess I am the finance bro of the group. 3 things stood out in the Walt Disney Company's latest Q1 earnings call. 1, Disney is on track to profitability by end of fiscal year 2024. Several key metrics support this. Between the Q1 results for fiscal year 2022 to 2023, revenue increased by 8%. Net income from continuing operations rose by 11%, and diluted EPS have similarly risen 11%. And I'm not going to read on from there. I'm going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
The copy's boring. Copy's boring is confusing. Of everybody watching right now, there are 23 people watching the stream right now. Don't look it up. Tell me yes or no in the chat if you know what diluted earnings per share is. You can just hit Y or N. Here. I'll go first. Why? I know. Do you know? Got no idea. No. Nope.
Yeah. So we know where this is going.
Yes.
Most people don't know what this is.
Exactly. So here's the thing. When you are writing copy and content for lay investors, lay people, most of them, I believe it's 89.128% of them by my last count, don't actually know what financial terms are. They invest because they're told to invest, because there's a whole marketing industry powered by Wall Street that tells people to invest, but they don't actually understand what's going on under the hood of investments. Diluted earnings per share, by the way, are earnings that are adjusted relative to how much a share has been diluted. That means how many other shares have been issued or taken away off the market in the fiscal period. If that means nothing to you, that's because it means nothing to anybody who isn't a finance bro. So already, just from point one, you're running into the problem that most people who are trying to write for finance run into. And that problem is that they aren't writing for people. They are writing for the SEC or for accountants. But most of the people that you're going to be writing to, if you're writing for finance, are people. And when I look at this, Disney is on track to profitability by end of fiscal year 2024. That sounds like the end of a story I never got the beginning to.
Yeah.
Here's the story of Disney. Disney, and I'm going to talk about this in podcast voice, but this would make a good portfolio update. Disney has been struggling since the pandemic. Just imagine. This entire company depends on people going to its parks, paying for its entertainment, going on its cruises, going to the movie theater. And within 1 month, all of that went away. One of the most powerful companies in the world was all of a sudden facing down the barrel of a gun. So what is a girl to do?
Why do you keep saying that?
I love that expression.
I love that expression too. I think it's so funny. And so, but you see where I'm going with that. Now, Disney is on track to profitability means nothing if you don't provide the context. What I just gave was the context. This company is one of the most powerful companies in the world, and they have been struggling for years. And so, as a result, people are going to wonder, is this a good investment? And so, before I move on and get into like point three, 3 things stood out in this earnings call. Avatar might be coming to Disneyland. That feels less important to me than 2 other pieces of news that are true of Disney right now. One is Disney's back, baby. That's the important story there. The other one is Disney World in Orlando, Florida, Epcot. What's going to happen now that its special district zoning has been taken away? Lindsey, you live in Florida. You know about this, right?
I don't know anything about it. No.
Okay, yeah.
What happened?
So basically, Bob Iger, the guy who's responsible for making modern Disney, I believe he was responsible for acquiring like Marvel and Star Wars. So if you know Disney, you know it because of Bob Iger, and also Walt Disney, and probably Michael Eisner. Anyway, that's besides the point. Bob Iger retired, and there's some suspicion because he retired in February of 2020. Like, let's be real, that's a little suspicious. And then he put in his place Bob Chapek, and Bob Chapek really shook up the company. He's responsible for the launch of Disney Plus, but as it's been revealed, Disney Plus now probably Disney is probably the biggest streaming company on the planet, bigger than Netflix if you combine Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus, but it's still not profitable. Like, how do you fuck that up? Nobody was leaving their house. Everybody was watching Disney Plus. I've seen the stats on The Mandalorian. Everybody was watching Disney Plus. So how did you make that you had a layup and you tripped over your own? I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. So that's the other big story here. The big, like, flashy return of Bob Iger. And then, like, all of a sudden, this company went from, like, profitable, powerful under Bob Iger to almost going into the ground under Chapek to Disney's back baby under Iger. So that's the big Disney story that's happening right now. And that is what you would want to focus on in this. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
I think I just want to crystallize for people watching this. This is a very different piece of content than what you're used to seeing on these streams. There's no action to take. This is pure financial editorial, right? But I think the lessons that Sean is giving are very applicable to copy as well, which is, the context of the story has to be there. First of all, you can't assume that the reader knows, the backstory. Accessible language, avoiding jargon and financial writing is one of the biggest offenders for new junior copywriters. Again, you can't assume that the reader knows what these things are. So I think these are important lessons. And then also just the persuasive technique of just constantly reselling the idea in the story. It applies for editorial too. And while, it's you aren't convincing someone to, pull out their credit card and spend money, which is a different type of persuasion. You still need to sell the reader on this idea over again. And so how you frame the ideas, how Sean just illustrated has to be more in a positive light. Unless you're selling the company, you need to basically be reaffirming for the company why it's still a good company to hold, and maybe even now is an opportunity to buy, for instance.
So Bob Iger, he announced he was retiring just before the pandemic. Let's this dude step in and take the whole brunt of the pandemic and nearly drive into the ground. And now he's like, "Oh, thanks for that. I'm going to take back over again." I've just been reading about Bob Iger and Bob Chapek in the background, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Although Bob Chapek is getting like a $20 million payout from pension and CEO salary, so I'm sure.
Wow.
So
sorry, that was so interesting. See, that's good copy because Sean, the way you described that, I was like, well, shit, I want to know. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a really incredible story. Anywho, so long story short, it's probably not going to have a hugely material impact on the company. Like all it means was that Disney got to manage its own power systems and not have to share it with like other cities in Florida, and like not have to go through red tape when it comes to like zoning stuff. So if they wanted to build a new ride, they didn't have to get as many permits. Like seriously, that's all it meant. And for a company like Disney, like it's not going to matter that much. It's all political theater. It's stupid. It's like people who complain about wokeness. It's just dumb. It's a talking point. And so I would say that like ultimately it's not going to have a huge impact on the actual company. And so if I saw a revision of this, I would probably want to see at least some attention paid to that. So
great.
Let's move on from there. Okay, and view and 150. Hey, I think this is one for Alex. Who wants to read this one?
It's my boy. I won't read this one because I
read
want
it.
to be more paying attention to it. Yeah.
Okay. No, go ahead, Rod, if you want to read.
Yes, I love dogs. All right, so our readers are dog owners who are open to learning to raise their perfect dog and keep them mentally and physically healthy. The sender is a dog trainer guru who is a vet and dog behaviorist who is selling info products on dog training. It is an advertorial email. Stage of awareness is problem solution aware. They should probably know about other socialization techniques, but not the one that they're about to learn about. So our subject lines are 1, the 15-second socialization hack. 2, 4 touches for a calmer dog. And 3, a touchy socialization technique. Dear name. To avoid any problems between small children, strangers, and your dog, it's necessary to get them used to being pet in sometimes uncomfortable ways. Good-hearted children or strangers can unintentionally do things that dogs can identify as a threat, and serious problems can arise. To avoid this at all costs, I'm showing you a 15-second socialization hack you've probably never heard of. I call it the 4-touch socializer. It's a socialization technique aimed directly toward petting socialization. And as the name entails, you're going to be touching your dog on 4 particularly sensitive areas of their body a few times each day. 1, their groin. 2, in between their paw pads. 3, inside their ear. And 4, their tail. By touching these sensitive body parts yourself, you're going to prepare them to calmly handle being touched there by strangers, children, the vet, and even other dogs. I absolutely love this technique because it can't be any simpler. It requires just seconds a day, can be done at home, and is actually a very powerful socialization tool. Try it yourself, and even if they find it weird at first, they'll get used to it in just a few sessions. For their best health, Dr. Branson. P.S. Socialization is a very intricate subject with many downfalls and seemingly complicated routes you could take depending on your dog's breed, age, and current level of socialization. So to take the guesswork from raising a calm, confident, and well-mannered dog, I put together a comprehensive socialization guide called the Ultimate Socialization Video Package. By clicking the link, you'll discover everything you need to know and to avoid about proper socialization to raise a calm, confident, and well-mannered dog, regardless of breed or age. I demonstrate every socialization technique you'll find inside, and I'll also provide you with daily action steps and a comprehensive plan to progressively build up from your dog's current level of socialization. I'm also revealing other little-known techniques, like the 4-touch socializer, such as 1, the tension diffuser. Stop a fight even before it breaks out by doing this with the leash at the right moment. Video number 3 at 10 minutes and 32 seconds. 2, make sure your dog happily welcomes a trustworthy stranger's stroke with the safest introduction method. Video number 4 at 14:18. 3, here's how to teach your dog safe and respectful behavior around bigger dogs in just 2 steps. Video number 6, 3:45. 4, and many more. Click here to find out more about my socialization video package.
All right. Gonna start off by saying there's a lot I like about this. Biggest thing that you could do to improve this right now, almost all of that PS section, you take that and you put it on the page that you're trying to send them to. Also, the intrigue, and I assuming this is this coming from Oliver again? I'm not sure if it is. I haven't got the thing up. But if it, I'm assuming
Yes.
it is, because yeah,
It is.
we spoke about this in the DMs as well. I think you've taken on what I mentioned the last time we spoke about this really well. I think something you're still suffering from a little bit is what we've referred to as giving away the farm a bit too quickly. I think that you've called it an advertorial email, which I don't actually know if there's an advertorial email, if there's such a thing as that. But like, I would, the intention you have in this email is very clear, which is to introduce them to a product. That is actually what you're doing. You're introducing them to a product. Let the page do that. Don't let the email do that. A couple reasons. One, because if you have the email, the primary objective of the email is to get them to click, like we were talking about earlier. They've already kind of committed to seeing what is on the other side. And then the page can do the work from there. And there can be a video. And in that video, that is when I would introduce I wouldn't go straight into how it's a product. That's where I would introduce the 4 sensitive areas. I think this is a fantastic idea. There's so many great things about this. I think the 4-touch socializer, I love the second subject line. That one, if I was going to bet on something, I think that one would win. I think that you just need to rethink about the funnel and how you're actually moving people through the steps. And I would leave that kind of next step of intrigue around getting someone on a page to watch someone, the vet or whomever. If you don't have the facilities to do a video, obviously just write it. But then to explain, here's where you touch them. This is why. because I think the idea of this and the relationship that you have with the reader in terms of making sure you're using the right VOC, I think is spot on. I can tell you as a dog owner of problem dogs as well, like the things you're saying there, I think are fantastic. And I can tell that from the conversation we had in the DMs, you have adapted that really well. I'm going to stop there for a minute before I hog the whole kind of feedback. Because Sean, I know you had something to say as well.
I have a few things to say, but I want to leave the floor for the actual dog owners.
Yeah, I'll take a stab at this. I think what you're literally talking about and selling here is probably useful, but the terms in which it's being described are not terms I would ever use to describe these situations. Like there is for a lot of people, there probably is some level of like beating around the bush that you need to use like about dog behavior, but the reality of what you're talking about when you say to avoid any problems between small children, dogs, and small children, strangers, and your dog, what you're really saying is there to avoid your dog biting someone and you having to go to court or your dog killing somebody. Like that's what you're really saying. And so like talking about it in this really veiled language and like, oh, they can unintentionally do things that dogs can identify as a threat.
You are
serious problems.
You are diffusing the strongest emotion that you could evoke in a dog owner around this technique, which is fear. Mm-hmm. Anybody who has a dog is terrified about the idea of their dog biting a small child, biting a stranger. And so I think that's something that you can dimensionalize here.
Can I actually just show something right now?
Yeah,
all
of
right.
course.
Here, Cleaner, come here.
Oh, woo! Yeah!
So I have a
show the puppy
85 pound pit mastiff mix here. He was adopted at 4 years old. He is beautiful. He's so friendly with people, but he hates other dogs and is very aggressive towards other dogs / maybe anxious or something. And that is not something that we've really been able to address. And for a while, we thought it was getting better, whatever. But one day, maybe 2 years ago, we had him out in our backyard. There's like a fence on three sides. In the front, there's no fence. And he saw a dog walking down the street and took off after this other little dog and tackled it. And we had to like break him apart or whatever. And that was terrifying. Look at this sweet boy. He was a murder machine and could have killed the dog. And it was a very, very scary thing for everyone involved. I am someone who would be very, very interested in learning how do I socialize my dog, but it was not until I saw that situation or, ideally would have had that situation illustrated to me that I would identify as like, oh my God, that's something I totally need. And so to talk about it, you don't want problems, you don't want, whatever. My dog peeing on the carpet is a small problem or a large problem given his size. Him attacking another dog or attacking a person is like far beyond that. We're at like I'm worried about his safety and health and the health and safety of like people at that point. And so we, use that because that's a really real thing, especially for people with like the kind of dog who are going to be thinking about this.
I think you have hit the nail on the head. And that was going to be the point I was building to was the VOC that you've got down, I think is great. I think what people care about. The way you're presenting it, the way you are, and like Lindsey said, I think was perfect. The way you're like diffusing the emotion from it is the biggest problem in this email. Rod, that situation you described, I had basically the exact same thing. She's not here right now, but like that's my one. She's in recent copy that YouTube videos. And the thing that my very first thought when I read that first line, to avoid any problems between small children, strangers, and dog, small children, strangers, like great thing to mention. Imagine if this opened with, or at least had up very high up there in quotation marks, don't pet him there, ! Like all caps, like don't pet him there, ! Right? Like that's immediately like, oh yeah, I've been there before. Right?
Yeah.
Karen 43 was in pure panic as she watched her beloved, Dalmatian wrap his jaws around. Like there are ways to evoke that, but like I have 2 dogs. I have had incidents with both dogs. One of their huskies, and I am not necessarily in the market as somebody looking for training techniques. However, if you illustrate, as I was reading this, to avoid any problems between small children, strangers, those are the things that are flashing, in my mind as I'm thinking back to the instance when, my dog was breaking out of our house. We had no idea how he was getting out, broke into the neighbor's house and was terrorizing the neighbor's cat, and she came home one day and there's blood all over the walls, and thankfully the cat was okay, but like the real story. And like that's a terrifying thing. And my other dog bit my pregnant friend, and so, and I wouldn't even consider them problem dogs necessarily, great with kids. Those are the only incidences. But if you were to paint that picture, I would be much more engaged with the copy from the get-go.
Really quickly on that point, everybody knows that I'm not a fan of templates except for the disrupt, intrigue, click. Disrupt, I like DIC, that formula, because it's descriptive, it's not prescriptive. Like you can already say that this is trying to disrupt, all of this is trying to intrigue. Okay, there's that. I'm generally skeptical of other templates that are more prescriptive, that are more like, problem, agitate, solution. Present a problem. There's no ambiguity of what you need to present there. Whereas with DIC, there are a lot of ways you can disrupt somebody's attention. Problem, okay. Yes, we have a problem. But what's missing is the A, the agitation, what other people are saying, that horrifying moment that would awaken in somebody's mind the need, the urgency for having this kind of product. Another template that I want to share with everybody on stream, and we probably have to end here in 3 minutes, and that's going to be it for today. But the other template that I want to share with people that isn't talked about very much is PPPP, which is funny, but if you're 14, but also it's called Picture, Promise, Proof, and Payoff. Now, what everybody has been talking about is evoking a more powerful picture. All of this is telling, it's very abstract. There you go. It's not painting a picture in the reader's mind. And that is a really good way to write good emails, to write good advertorial, to write good sales pages, to write good editorial. And here, I think that this would improve very much. Yeah, I also agree that like where the CTA is weird. Like that's very weird. I don't even know if this is necessary. Like I want to understand what the purpose of this email is trying to do, I guess. Advertorial email, that's for like, I'm sure that some marketer has said it. Like none of these terms are fixed in stone and concrete. They're always very flexible, and marketers love to invent new shit because they can, and it makes them sound unique because that's what sells. So advertorial, very simply, is an editorial that has an ad sort of like sneakily woven into it. It's basically a piece of like valuable editorial, something you can learn from or be entertained by, that has some sort of like subtle push or not subtle push at the very end of it. That's an advertorial. An email is, and you would drive traffic to an advertorial either organically or directly to get somebody to go on to whatever it's linking to. An email is not that. So an email is something that you send to somebody that you have already gotten a hold of their information of. And so with this email, I question like what is the purpose here? Like what are we trying to do? Is this the goal? If this is the goal, get somebody to click onto this within this sequence once you get their email, then my question is like, is this doing all the right things? Like if I were writing this, I would spend more time painting that picture. I would also omit this.
Yep.
I would also probably include in that email a picture of like a vet in a lab coat holding their hand near I would say the rear part of the dog, but I would have like a black censored bar over that part of the dog and have the dog like looking over the camera, like worried a little bit. And then I would say, have under that like a link with like a bunch of like the arrows pointing up to the image that says, you're not going to believe where you need to be petting your dog.
Oh,
That's how I would approach this. If my goal was to get clicks, I know how to get some motherfucking clicks. That would get clicks. So,
yeah,
Great.
I 100% agree. It's also the time now to go.
Yeah.
I could talk about dog marketing for ages, but yeah.
I think that was pretty good. I hope that helped.
yeah. And you know what? To everybody who shared their copy and was brave enough to share their copy with us, I wanted to thank you. And I wanted to also thank everybody that we didn't get a chance to get to today. We are not going to be streaming next week because next week we are going to be streaming on Monday for the Copy That episode. What is the topic we're going to be talking about?
I think it's someone's baby here, right? I don't want to. My last time was my baby, so I don't want to handle anyone's baby.
I would love to do a stream where we actually do like a post-mortem for the campaign, where we actually like talk about like what the strategy was, the problems we ran into, why we did what we did, what we observed, what we learned. Mm-hmm. That could be for the future. Somebody's printing something.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
The mystery man behind Rod.
Yeah. the secret sixth member of Copy.
the real brain behind our operation.
I think he has a little bit of plumber's butt going on too, Rod.
Oh no, this is on YouTube.
Don't tell him. Oh no. Anyway, thank you very much for sharing your copy with Copy That. We hope you learned a lot from this particular stream. We hope you learned a lot from us. We hope you learned a lot from your peers, and we hope that it helps you improve your copy, grow, and make that dang money. I'm going to censor myself now that we're here towards the end. If you would like to have your copy reviewed by us, remember it is first come, first serve, no guarantees, yada, yada, yada. Feel free to consider thinking about the possibility of joining us on patreon.com/thecopythatShow. That is where we house the vast majority of what we make: bonus streams, additional content, etc., etc. We have some other like more expensive paid products that is like more niche down, more geared towards people that are at a more advanced stage, like where they're like they really need the help or they really want a particular tool, and they can afford it. That's what we make for there. But broadly enough, you can become a copywriter with our free stuff, and we make stuff for the patreon.com/thecopythatshow if you want to go a step beyond that. Of course, within 2 weeks, we will probably do another one of these critique streams. And so if you would like to have your copy, have the chance to have your copy reviewed, sorry, the compliance man in my brain just stepped in there. Make sure to join us at the patreon.com/thecopythatshow. And of course, thank you for joining us for this stream. Thank you for forgiving me all of my crassness and stupid, dumb jokes. There was a very funny one earlier that I would like to share with you guys because we totally glossed it over. Do you mind if I go back? I know, Lindsey, you have a hard stop. But
please keep going. I'll see you guys later.
All right, Lindsey, take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Really quick, this will be the last thing. My friend recently turned vegan. It's like she totally changed. It's like I never knew her before.
That was very good. I did notice that, and I gave a sly smile, but we were in the middle of something.
So, you know what? The only response that I have to this is if me replacing my B's and my V's makes me sound Russian, then so be it.
No.
And that, my friends, my loves, gentlemen, ladies, and neither or both, have a lovely day. Have a good week. Go make that money. Take care and thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
See ya.